Welcome to Redvee TV, supported by A-Star Recruitment for the 2021 Championship winning season. Those words will never get old, but
Correct.
It's now time to start looking ahead to 2022 with the club releasing the new home and away kits for the season and the fixtures announcement this week from Super League. We've took a little bit of time to digest, and now you get our initial thoughts on them all. What do you want to start with, Kev?
Start with kits.
That's a good job because that's the picture that's on the screen.
That's why I picked
it. Kits on display in the club shop. First of all, record sponsorship. I think that is the thing that stands out. Nationwide, well-known, recognised brand in Home Bargains. Obviously, they're currently about to build a new facility, I think up in Bold on Omega. Local company, Home and Bargain, based in Liverpool, or from Liverpool originally. Don't start, Kev.
Home Bargain. It says Home Bargain on the front. Since 1995, it's been Home Bargain, not Home and Bargain.
Easy pickings, that,
Live
Kev.
In the past. You're like a Wigan fan living in the past.
But yeah, record sponsorship. Do you know what? When other teams are struggling for sponsorship deals, Saints are like a Formula One side. There's that many brands that want to be associated with us. Home Bargains on the front, Barter Card joining us on the back of the shirt, as well as A-Star Recruitments once again. Canaxia Logistics, St Helens College, a couple more sponsors on the side. It's all good, isn't it, in terms of basically keeping us on top?
Yeah, when you've gone through a pandemic, when you've gone through economic downturn, to continue to get a sponsorship signed up and a record sponsorship at that, the club needs to be applauded for that. People might say that the aesthetics of the colourway of the logo aren't quite right for our shirts, but listen, a colourway doesn't pay for you to keep you up to the salary cap. It doesn't pay for your new stadiums. It doesn't pay to keep the right people in the right posts. You've got to look at it from a purely financial point of view, and it doesn't matter. You could have like Amazon on the front and they pay you £2.50 a week. What's better? Is it better to have Home Bargains on the front and then pay your record sponsorship, or have somebody, Harrods, Ferrari, somebody like that on the front and not get the money for it? I know which way I'd rather go with it.
Listen, some of the responses maybe I've come across from some of the fan bases a little bit snobby, but I guarantee every single one of them shops in Home and Bargain.
Home Bargains. I can see this being a running theme through the season. And if not on a regular basis, they'll at least been in there. They'll know where the nearest one is. As I say, mate, you've got to, not only have you got to take what you can get, but to be able to negotiate. And listen, the on-field performances reflect that negotiation. That if you turn around to a company and say, we're champions for the past 3 years, you're in a much stronger position than if we've been runners up, or we didn't quite make the top five this year, or whatever. No, as I say, the club needs to be applauded for being able to get such a sponsorship in place.
Listen, Home and Bargain's the only shop where you can go in to buy a 49p bottle of Coke and come out having spent 80 quid on a dog bed, LED solar light bulbs for the garden, the little scarecrows that the kids love that sit in the back garden as well. It is the greatest shop in the town in terms of being able to spend your money on things that you didn't actually realise you needed until you've actually
seen it. Best thing is you haven't even got a dog. No, I get what you mean. That's it. Yeah. No, what when you get back from like Hull at 1 o'clock in the morning because of all the diversions. Yeah,
Not this
yeah.
season. 3 o'clock on a Saturday, or half 12.
That's
Whatever it is. We'll get on to that in a minute.
half 12 it is. Yeah, half 12 it is. Yeah, you're right about the store. It's we're not doing a sales pitch for Home Bargains unless
They don't need it, Kevin. They don't need it
unless they want to appear on the sleeve or the collar or something. But yeah, as I say, it's a good sponsorship.
They could pay us in 49B bottles of Coke and some pork scratchings.
Fair enough.
All right, the kits themselves then, Kev. The home is very similar to the 2020 kit. Going back to that deep V. How would you have sold this kit, Kev?
I'd have sold it. What's that, sorry?
Give us your sales pitch. I'm sitting back.
My sales pitch. I would have said something along the lines of lending inspiration from Christian Wolf's Tonga side. This deep red V contains, now we've had an argument about this as well, 13 red Vs, which represent each one of our Challenge Cup wins as well as the players taking the field. That's what I'd have gone with, something like that. Because I do think it's quite Tongan in the kind of, based on the current kit anyway. It's kind of, but keeping that tradition of a red V in it. But to be honest, I'm surprised that we've stuck with a kit that looks like one that we only had 2 years ago. It is a bit of a surprise to me. I thought we might have gone for something a little bit different, a little bit out there.
Well, next season, 150 years. Do we expect maybe something a little bit more traditional, proper V next year?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the club will be well on top of that, and it will just be white jersey, red V. That's your lot. I can't see it being anything where they kind of go either a lot more red on there, or look back at some of the other ones like the Spider-Man V or the kind of curved V that we had last year. I can see it just being white, red V. That's your lot. Done.
Right, Kev. Sell the away kit to me.
Why don't you sell the away kit? I've just sold the home one. You sell the away kit.
This futuristic away kit has 2 million lines on it. I don't know. I actually like the colours. I know it wasn't to everyone's cup of tea when they first seen it, but it looks much better in the flesh. It looks much better on that picture, I think. I actually quite like it.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That's it. I'd probably go something along the lines of following on from Saints' electric performances over the past couple of seasons. This has it's got a buzzing V about it, something along them lines. It should work in marketing rather than finance.
Do you know what it looks like? The little are they blue or green?
Green.
They're green.
I'm colourblind, but so that's not.
So you can't actually see what colour that is.
It looks greeny to me. Restart to install your upgrades, David.
Let's hope it doesn't start mid-video. It actually looks like the ring on the gas hob when the gas is on.
I probably wouldn't sell it like that.
On this photograph as well, Kev, that little black triangle under the Home Bargains logo looks like the mannequin's wearing a thong.
Who knows what Saints are going to be selling in the future? I'd say one thing about it, when we did go up to the club shop to have a look at them as well. I've been quite critical about going into the club shop and it looking like the background of a Scooby-Doo cartoon, where it's the same thing over and over and over again. At least Saints have been brave enough to go with this this green colourway, this ice cold colourway, because just walking in and seeing black, navy, red, white, black, navy, red, white, it doesn't inspire you to part with your money, I don't think. So doing something different, doing something braver than just sticking to I'm sorry, I'm going to say boring colourways. They need to kind of do that, because the way I see it, the way that you sell kit like that is you've got to make it look completely different to the last lot. So you're almost saying to people, well, I know you've got that one that looks all right. It's still in decent nick, but by the way, we've got this brand new bright green colourway that's come out. We've got this brand new orange colourway that's come out. You need to update your wardrobe with this new stuff, and that's how you get people's money in through the door.
I think the best one, Kev, was we were in the shop critiquing the kits and the merchandise, and then we found out the club secret shopper with his baseball cap on and his own gear on stood behind us having a go, Mr. Rush.
It was just perfect timing, as you said something about the kits. Well, about one of the training shirts, sorry. And you said it a little bit too loud, so we heard you. And we both turned around and started laughing because he was stood there having a go back at you.
Again,
all in good.
But do you know what? I haven't said anything that I wouldn't say to the club directly. Yeah. So I got me complaint in, didn't I, Kev?
Yeah, you did.
And I'm going to make the same complaint here. Why on earth have we not, as a club, got more bobble hats in the middle of winter, considering it was snowing the other day? And why on earth do we not make bobble hats that fit real men's heads?
Well, that's it. There's a problem for the ages, isn't there? That if you've got if pound for pound you've got a big head, you struggle. As was seen, I don't think you've got this, but as was seen on Redvee with Conrad Harrell, struggling with a hat.
Me and Conrad, real men. There must be a lot of men in this town who've got head like peas if the hats fit them. That's all I can say. Where O'Neill's get the sizing from when they make hats, I have absolutely no idea. So yeah, if anybody's bought a bobble hat and it doesn't quite fit correctly, please tweet us the photographs because we will retweet. I will happily go to the O'Neill factory, wherever it's based. Is it Widnes or is it Ireland? Wherever. And I will let them measure my head to make a hat that fits for me.
I'll ring them and tell them get the scaffolding out.
I'll measure my head on the next video. We'll film it.
Okay. All right. I'm not sure that's the content that anybody needs. Oh.
There's me moan anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right, have we done enough on the kits? Are you buying either, Kev? Which one will you buy first?
If I was going to buy one, the away one.
Yeah.
I quite like, as I say, I quite like some of the training gear. I might get my hands on a bit of that.
Yeah, I like the away training gear.
Yeah.
It's a bit different for a change. Right. Fixtures. Now, I'm not entirely sure why we split them into home and away rather than just having one big poster, which would have made it like a lot easier. Starting off at home, repeat of the grand final at Catalan. We'll travel over. Chance to get off to a great start.
Yeah, you've got to hope that they don't click with the new signings that they've brought in, and that we do. I know we've probably got a little bit more of a settled team because they're changing the halfbacks and we're not. So hopefully that stands in good stead. I know Jack Wellsby will be filling in for Lachlan Coote, and that'll be interesting to see first up, to see how he takes the fullback role, especially on what may well be a cold February night. Probably not too dissimilar to the night we've got here, where it's a little bit cold, a little bit rainy. But it'll be an interesting one, that one. I think that Catalan in recent years haven't tended to travel that well. They've done all right against us a couple of times at our place, but I think a lot of those kind of preconceptions and misconceptions are kind of eroding now. I think that obviously they were a force last year, so it's not one that you turn around and you think, well, February they won't fancy it. They're going to be coming over here trying to prove something. trying to put a marker down for them to have as good a season as they did last year.
Other fixtures that stand out, we have 2 trips to Super League New Boys Toulouse, first game in March and then again in June. Hoping to get over to one of them, Kev, but then obviously they've just gone and brought a load of new restrictions in, which have slowed us down a little bit. Is it a case of having to wait and see now a little bit on where we stand for travel?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we should. I'm not saying that's for everybody, but from our point of view, we might as well wait and see what comes of it, and hopefully things aren't as bad as you might hear.
I think the issue is having to isolate on return, potentially, and obviously we're playing Toulouse on the Saturday, so there was potential of ways of doing it where you could do Friday to Sunday and be back in work on the Monday. Potentially people are going to have to use more annual leave and holidays if circumstances don't change.
Yeah, possibly so. People aren't lucky like myself who can work from home. People have got to be there and do the job physically. So yeah, it's not ideal, but listen, if you've got to wait until the other side of Christmas and make sure that there's things haven't turned into a big mess again, it's a small price to pay if your flights go up by a tenner, 20 quid. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully they can hold.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Toulouse, by the way, the 4th biggest city in France, and it's absolutely a terrible place to fly to directly. We've seen all sorts of different ways, haven't we?
Yeah, from up here it is anyway. I think in the past I have been to Toulouse, lovely square to go sit out and have a couple of beers at. We went to Catalan and flew into Toulouse, got the bus down and got the bus back up and had a night up there. So yeah, lovely city.
Kev, would that be the Capitol Square? I can't really pronounce it properly.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a McDonald's on it and we had a load of beers. Me, Big Jack Loosely, Dave Howarth was on there, a couple of our mates, just yeah, having a couple of beers. I think that's where we've booked. I think that's where we've booked our hotel. Should we be able to get the flights? Nice, good choice. Whoever picked them, good choice.
Thanks, Kev.
And well listened.
So that is them. Magic Wigan on the Saturday, 4:45 in Newcastle. Easy 2 points.
Well, that's it. You've got Good Friday at home. I mean, don't know about you, but I do prefer an away Good Friday.
Yes, the day out.
But yeah, the last one we went to was magnificent. When there was absolutely no doubt in that result, was there? I'm sure I've read a rumour that Jai Field might be going back home. Morley on Twitter put something about him potentially going back home, so that'd be a big blow to them, even though I think he's only played a handful of times for them. What a shame. But yeah, it's 15th of April for Good Friday. Looking forward to that one. Magic again. Magic. I like the idea of going back to derbies because we've not played them there, and I know it's just how the league's fallen because they do the old first against third, second against fourth, and so on. So it's worked out really nice in some really tasty fixtures. But I don't mind going back to derbies every so often. You don't want to start losing the income from your usual regular season game of getting whatever it might be, 14, 15, 16, 17,000 into the Totally Wicked. But every so often, making it a big showpiece event, I'm quite happy with
that. The only other ones that really stand out, Wire Away, the 19th of May. If we're to get to the cup final, that's the week before on the Thursday. And then following the cup final, that is when we'll be going to Toulouse on the 4th of June.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, if we're as successful, that's it. It's always a tough run. It's always a tough time. It doesn't matter who you're playing just before or just after, because you always have that kind of after the Lord Merse show kind of feeling that the game after a cup final, if we're lucky enough to get there again. Yeah, you've played your big game, you've given everything. Then it's a struggle to get back up for the next game, and it's something that we're just going to have to kind of learn to do, really.
A few games this season, some yet to be changed on Channel 4, which is a big boost for potentially for Super League, and hopefully the very beginning of something that could prove profitable in the future. Saints going to be the second game to be shown on national television against Hull FC away on the 19th of Feb, 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday. So we won't be getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning, we hope.
No, definitely not. Well, he says. I don't want to go too over the top about the Channel 4 deal. I think it's fantastic, but I think there's a lot of work that also needs to go alongside it. And I'm not talking about by Channel 4, I'm talking about the club's Super League itself to kind of push it. I've said in the past how they've had the, is it the Heineken Cup, I think, or whatever it is in rugby union they've had on, and they've had a bit of a magazine show beforehand, then broke for an hour and had, I don't know, The Simpsons or something like that on, then gone back to the game. And I've sat and watched it because it's live sport that's just on. And you just...
Is that because you couldn't find the remote after The Simpsons had finished?
Yeah, pretty much. There's a good Simpsons as well.
What's your favourite Simpsons episode?
I don't know. That's a tough one just to spring on me.
My one is where they go to New York and home wants, is it Cav Clash? And then the car ends up, they're at the top of the tower, and then they come down and he's struggling, and the car ends up getting clamped, and they end up having to drive back to Springfield with like the clamps on the car because he won't pay to get it off.
Oh. And is that where he rips all the road up when he's driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one.
Jeez.
I like the one with Hank Scorpio in it.
Oh, Monorail's good as well.
Monorail is good, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, back to rugby. It might catch a couple of kind of casual watchers as well, just because it's on, because it's free to air. But we've got to do a lot with it, with the game as a whole. We can't just turn around and say we've got the greatest game in the world and that be it. You've got to build on it. You've got to get your marketing out there. You've got to push this.
I think the issue for me a little bit as well is, obviously, I think it's like something like 10 games over the course of the year. Now they're doing round 1 and round 2. Then they've got a couple of playoff games at the end of the year. Are we going to have like 6 or 7 rounds without a game on TV? So you don't get to build upon that base.
Yeah, possibly so. I kind of hope as well that this is a perfect opportunity for us to make some players household names. It's the perfect opportunity. Remember a couple of years ago when they had like James Rowe with the Human Dynamo, and they had Earl Crabtree and the likes, and they made them into like cartoon characters, and they were kind of saying what the best attributes. Well, this is where they should be putting like Tommy Makinson, Tom Johnson as the flying wingers, Alex Walmsley's the wrecking ball. You know, stuff like this where you turn around and you build on players' personalities, on their attributes.
You'd have players coming out like WWE.
Well, I can't say that I've ever watched WWE, but just each with their own entrance music.
We could have Aggie Parsi and Alex Walmsley as a tag team as the Legion of Boom.
Okay. Completely lost on me, that.
Do you remember the Legion of Doom?
No, I know who Hulk Hogan is, Ultimate Warrior.
Come on. You do know who the Legion of Doom are. I'm not having that. No. You do. I'm telling you do.
Right, okay. I'll take your word for it then.
If I show you the picture and you don't know who they are, I'll be shocked.
Well.
They were the Road Warriors. Did you not watch wrestling?
Okay.
Did you not watch wrestling in the 80s?
No. No, I went outside. I played football and rugby and cricket and that.
So did
instead.
I. Well, yeah, okay.
But
Right,
listen,
another one for the comments. Let us know if Saints players were wrestlers, what would their wrestling names be?
But yeah, it's a perfect opportunity to make them into household names. And I think if people were honest and we asked who in Super League at the moment is an actual household name, and I'm not talking about if you walk into Hull City Centre or you walk into Leeds City Centre or St Helens, Warrington Town Centres. I'm talking if you go into like Bristol or Coventry or Norwich or Luton or somewhere like that. Have we got anyone who you think, you go back to like Martin Afire being a household name, people knowing who he was? Have we got anyone like that?
Can I answer the question?
Go on.
No one.
Oh yeah, we haven't. That's my opinion as well. We've got no one, and people will turn around and I've had this conversation with people before, and they've said, "Oh, Sam Tompkins." I'm sorry, you walk into a household or you walk into a town centre in Plymouth or Cardiff or wherever, and you go, "Do you know who this is?" With a picture of him, you almost guarantee that you're going to get the vast majority of people going, "Not a clue."
A household name is somebody who has no interest in sport would still recognise.
Yes, correct.
Generally. So,
yeah.
And without sounding awful, you could walk the St Helens squad round Liverpool city centre in their Saints tracksuits individually, and most people wouldn't know who they are.
And it's an unfortunate point of where we're at the game, but this is the perfect point to try and start changing that. I think this is a perfect point where you get people on, you speak to them, because every time like Tommy Makinson or whoever's been on Soccer AM, there's been a big kind of like people who've been interested in him being on there. It's been shared on social media. Tommy Mack's on today. But you know what? We need that on free-to-air telly, where the people are sitting down and just catching and turning around going, you know what? He comes across as a nice fella. I'm going to kind of watch his team. I'm going to see how he plays. I'm going to see what he does. Or he's a winger. He doesn't really do very much. He'll stay out on his wing. He might score a couple of tries. Then they'll see Makinson coming running in like a steam train, like a second rower, making 100 metres in a game, not actually from just legging it down the wing or being cold like a rugby union winger is. It's hopefully you're going to pick up them fans, and
even like,
I've just said,
even like Regan Grace as a Welsh international, have him out there on S4C.
Yeah,
doing interviews in Welsh.
Well, yeah, you could do, and that's the thing.
I'm assuming he speaks Welsh.
But if he does, that's what you then push, and you start getting all that in. You start
if not, he's got 2 months to learn it before Feb. Easy.
Yeah, just a couple of answers. That's all he needs. But it's a good opportunity for us to build the sport, but it needs more than people just going, "Oh, we've got the best game in the world," because that doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. You turn around though to a football fan and they say football's the best game in the world. You turn around to a rugby union fan and a proper rugby union fan, they say that's the best game in the world. You just don't understand it. Cricket fan, best game in the world. Formula One, best driving round in circles in the world. They'll do it. I've only picked that because you like.
That's NASCAR.
I've only picked that because you like your Formula One, so I've only picked on that. But they will, and it doesn't sell. It doesn't sell the sport. What you've got to do is you've got to use your personalities, and you've got to build the profile of the sport. And building the profile is having it on free to air and getting your main players out there. Your England squad needs to be out there, and we need to be serious that if we're going to go into any type of expansion, people who turn around and go, "I'd have a team in Bristol, I'd have a team here, I'd have a team there," doesn't work like that. You can't just drop, "Oh, we're going to drop Bristol into Super League, we're going to drop Newcastle into Super League." It takes time for those to build and the right strategy and the right people behind them. You can't just turn around and go, "Oh, I want a team in London in Super League." If they're not good enough and they're not doing things off and on the field right, you're going to end up with an inferior product. And you've got to have them teams. And if you're going to do it strategically, you've got to have them teams build. Is the makeup of Super League right at the moment? yes, whether you like it or not, they are the right teams in Super League at the moment. If a stronger team is there in the wings, whether that be a London, whether it be a Bristol, a Coventry, a Newcastle, or whatever, and come and take over some of the other teams, and I am looking at the usual bottom dwellers, and it's unfortunate, but because a lot of them are in cities. But if they're going to be overtaken by other clubs, then so be it. It'll be a natural selection process. We can't keep sustaining Super League as something that just keeps teams going. It's got to build, and it starts by building with teams not just surviving and teams growing. When you look at Saints getting that sponsorship that we've just spoken about and trying to grow, getting grassroots players through. Are all teams doing that? No. Yeah. I think I'm right.
You're always right, Kev. Always, and that's why people watch. Right.
I'm not sure of it.
I think we just started another episode there.
Pretty much.
Right. I think we're done for now. We'll be back later in the week for another Q&A. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we will catch you very soon for another episode of the Champions Redvee. Catch you soon.